Living next to an HOA is like living next to a nosy relative who thinks your life is their business. But when that HOA crosses the line, sometimes you've got to teach them a lesson they'll never forget. I had just inherited my late uncle's old ranch-style house. It wasn't in the HOA's territory, but the neighborhood busybodies had their eyes on it, especially their president, Karen. The place had a huge patio, a pool, and, according to Karen, was perfect for community gatherings. One weekend, I went out of town on business. When I came back, I noticed something strange. My front door was unlocked, the lights were on, and loud music was blasting from inside. When I stepped inside, I couldn't believe it. The HOA had literally broken into my house and thrown themselves a party. Balloons, booze, even a karaoke setup. There was Karen, wearing a glittery hat and sipping from my favorite whiskey bottle, like she owned the place. I shouted, "What the hell are you all doing in my house?" Karen just smirked. "Oh, relax. The HOA board voted to use this space for our summer kickoff. You weren't here anyway, so what's the harm?" The harm was obvious. They tracked mud all over my rugs, broken a lamp, and were splashing in my pool. I was livid, but instead of throwing them out right then, I decided to get creative. See, my uncle used to keep exotic animals, and though most had been rehomed, one remained. A massive, grumpy crocodile named General. He lived comfortably in the ranch's large pond out back. So I came up with a plan. While they were too drunk and distracted singing karaoke, I slipped outside, grabbed the pulley system my uncle had rigged for animal handling, and coaxed General into a transport crate. With a little effort, I positioned the crate above the chimney. Then, thump, down he went. The screams were instant. You've never seen an HOA scatter faster. People were climbing over couches, spilling drinks, and Karen was shrieking like a banshee as General hissed and crawled across the floor. But here's the kicker. While they scrambled to escape, I locked every door and bolted the windows. They were trapped in my house with a very cranky crocodile. "Party's over," I shouted through the window. "Enjoy your guest of honor." For the next 30 minutes, I watched as the HOA board tried to climb furniture and balance on counters to stay away from General. He wasn't really aggressive, just territorial, but the fear on their faces was priceless. Finally, after they were good and terrified, I opened the doors and let them sprint out into the street, soaked in sweat and shaking. Karen, humiliated, tried to save face. "You'll be hearing from our lawyers," she yelled. I smirked. "Great. I'll show them the video footage of you breaking into my house and stealing my whiskey. Let's see how far that gets you." Needless to say, the HOA never bothered me or my property again. And General? He got an extra helping of steak that night. Some folks fight HOAs with lawyers. Me? I use crocodiles.